Dear toasties and guests, we've got 134th meeting today, starting unusually as we can see. So I'll keep it short and crisp, as Walter says, by telling you that our meeting is basically being recorded as usual. We are usually muting ourselves when we are not speaking and making sure that we did unmute ourselves before we start speaking. So that's it. Let's kick off our lovely meeting with our president, Walter Schwarz.
Thank you very much, Alexander, for introducing me so I can introduce you guys to our 134th meeting of today from lovely, hot, summery Saint Petersburg, as you can see from wherever you are. It is a bit of a chaotic start, and we need to get used to it. This is probably how life is and what COVID has taught us throughout the last year, what can happen with a plan you do. And there's even a saying, while you are making your plans, God is laughing quite a lot. I don't know if there's a literally translation for that, but life and weather don't really care about your plans. Nevertheless, let's kick it off with a sarcastic, nice and friendly go. I would like very much to emphasize the fact that nonetheless, how many people we are, we still have our hands to use, and we still want to contribute everyone who's speaking today or for his very role, and clapping or even giving reactions, because we still need to make sure, although everyone is focusing a little bit on settings and timing, that we still have human beings we are talking to and interacting with. I am delightfully handing over with a lot of fun and joy to the Toastmaster of the day, who is Rami Saeed in his best looking suit of the day. Rami, all yours. Rami.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. So today's theme is your wins. So everyone I want you all to think about all of the moments where you were winning and succeeding in an initiative in your life. For me, for example, a win this year was having a crush and to approach my crush and to tell her that and ask her out. And I did that. I'm not saying it worked out perfectly. I screwed it up, but at least I went and I faced it. You know, I did my role. So, and this is out of the way, and it's a big yes for me. And today, we will have an exciting session, and it's composed of several parts. First of all, I'll be introducing the evaluator team. Then we will have a section of speakers. We have 4 speakers for today, and we will have a 10-minute break, followed by a very interesting improvisation session, and finally by the evaluation and the winners for today. So we'll start first with Michael Wader. Michael Wader will be our general evaluator for today, and he will be introducing the evaluation team. And I would like to say a comment about Michael. What's a win for Michael? So basically, Michael in 1986 was chosen as the top leader for the top leader award among 2,000 senior commission officers in the Pacific region of the United States Air Force. Now, in 1986 and 1990, he was the finalist 4 times for the highest leadership award the United Air Force has, the Lance E. Sijan Award. Please, Michael, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Rami. Appreciate that. Ladies and gentlemen, you see, there was an engineering school and a professor and 4 students. These 4 students were his best top A students. They never had to study because they were so smart. They were always getting A's on every single test. So it came time for the end of the season and the end of the year, and they decided, we don't need to study this weekend before the finals. We're going to party and go to London. So off they went on the Friday. They went there, got drunk Friday night, partied Saturday, had a great time. Sunday, they woke up, they were feeling bad, but they said, let's have another pint. So they had another few pints, had a little too much. On Monday morning, they got in their car to race back to the university. And when they showed up 30 minutes late for the final exam. The professor had closed the door. He said, you didn't make it in time, so you don't get to take the final exam and you're going to fail. So they pleaded and pleaded and pleaded. And they said, please, 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 we want to take the test. Please, we'll do anything. And they told the professor, what happened was on the way back, we had a flat tire on our car. And when we had to take time to fix it, we didn't have the tools. And when we got the tire out of the back of the car, it was flat also. So we had even longer. And all these delays, this is what caused us to miss this. That's what they told the professor. So the professor said, okay, come in Monday morning and see me. 4 students show up Monday morning. He puts each of them in an individual different room. And he says, I'll give you all 4 of the tests. He said, there are 2 questions on the test. He said, the first question is worth 5 points. And the second question is worth 95 points. So they thought, oh, this is going to be easy. Only 2 questions. We can do it. So they went to the 4 different rooms. They sat there. And the first question was a technical question. And they answered, all 4 of them answered the technical question. But when they turned the page over to the second page, it said, which tire was flat? You see, somebody missed out on the deal, didn't they? See what happens when you tell lies sometimes, especially as a group. They failed. So that's the joke of the day. Sometimes when you're telling things, be careful who you tell what. They may just challenge you and find out that you weren't telling the truth. That's the joke of the day, guys. Oh, by the way, somebody else asked me a question earlier. They said I should tell you one more joke. It was about winning and defeat. And what I told them was, when you look at defeat, all you see is toes. Mr. Toastmaster, Dave, back to you.
Thank you so much, Michael. Again, to Michael, as the general evaluator for today, could you please introduce the evaluation team?
No. It's April Fool's, and that's why I said no. Okay, I will be your general evaluator today, and at the end of the meeting, I will evaluate the overall meeting, all the different things we did, including starting late, but we have a reason why, but all the different things that occur. My job is to try to add some ideas to how to make the next meeting better by identifying what we could have done better during this meeting. So that's what I will be doing as a general evaluator. Now, I have a timer today, and the timer is Alexander Kim, and he's going to be timing all of you that are speaking today. Alexander, would you like to tell us just a little bit about the timer's duties?
Absolutely, Michael. So as a timer, I will track the timing, basically. And one tip for all the speakers that will be giving a speech today is to pin me so you can see when I change the background color, so we can understand that the green color, for example, for Alan's speech means 5 minutes have passed. He has 2 more for his speech. Yellow means 6 minutes have passed, and red means basically the time is over. You should wrap it up as soon as possible. Basically, each speaker has its own rules, table topics, their own timings. We could talk about it during the table topic session, but basically this is how it works. You see the color, you understand how much time you have left, and you plan throughout your speech. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that, Alexander. You're always doing a great job for us. And Alexander, I got one more question for you in the theme of the day today. What has been within the last 4 or 5 years? What has been one win or victory for you in the last 4 or 5 years?
When I just got into Saint Petersburg, I enrolled in ITMO University, and I got enrolled on a contract basis, as we say in Russian. So that means I had to pay a tuition fee, which was very large. I had no scholarship, and it was a big financial damage to me. So after 1 year of studying, I managed to upgrade my status as a student. And I was one of the rarest students that could, after 1 year of studying, get their scholarship back. And basically the rest of education was free. So that was a big win for me. Thank you, Michael.
And that's for everybody. That's a good example that sometimes when we get into a battle or we get into a contest or we get into some endeavor, we don't always win the first time. It's just a matter that if you really want it, you try again. And as he did, he came back the second time and it was a great win for him. So very, very good. Unfortunately, we don't have a grammarian today. So we're going to give you a word of the day. I'm going to give it to you. This is just the word of the day. The word of the day is triumphant. Triumphant. The PH is pronounced as an F. Triumphant. It means having won or being successful. Used in a sentence, she had a triumphant ceremony, or he is a triumphant football player. If you have a success, if you have a victory, you can say that you are triumphant. We hope that you have a chance to use it in your conversation today while you are speaking and giving your speech or one of your role playing. We hope that you try to use it. Something different we're going to do this day. We have decided that we're going to skip the ah counter. Now, I started with this club last year in the springtime, and the first time I counted ahs, there was 145 ahs in the meeting. And it has gone down as low as 50 or 60 at times, and sometimes back up to 100 again. This time we're going to skip and not count ahs. We're just going to ask all of you to be a little bit more self-observant and try to think about your own ahs. And when you come to a point where you don't quite know what to say, it's better just to remain quiet and pause, gather your thought, and then continue rather than counting your ahs. So no ah counter for today. I have some evaluators today. Alexander Kim is going to be evaluating the second speech. Walter Schwarz is going to do both the third evaluation and the fourth evaluation. I will be doing the first evaluation. And our Toastmaster today has some information about these individual people, and he will be saying something about their background and some of the things that they're doing as he introduces them. But we have 3 of us evaluators today, and we will be evaluating 4 speeches if Constantine shows up. He's not here yet, so if he doesn't, we'll have 3. So Walter, you either have 2 jobs or 1 job because Alan is on board. So Mr. Toastmaster today, I think that takes care of the people that I have on my team. I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Thank you so much. It's a very triumphant introduction. So now we start with our favorite section of the day, which is the prepared speeches. Our first speaker for today is Marina Volodchenko. Her winning moment is when she had the discipline to train for a marathon. Now, one thing for you to know about Marina is that she is into horror movies and she wanted to become a surgeon to save people's lives. And for today's speech, her title is Family We Get to Choose, Presentation Mastery 1-2. Marina, floor is yours.
Thank you, Rami, for a nice introduction. So around a year ago, I had to renew my passport, my international passport. In Russia, we use 2, if you didn't know. One is for just internal travels and another one just for in case you're traveling outside of country. So that one lasts for 10 years and I had to renew it about a year ago in February. And I remember the moment of getting this freshly printed passport, smells like, you know, fresh book. And I got it and I was like, wow, this year is going to be such a wonderful year of travels, new experiences, emotions. And that was 2020. So ironically, I was sorting out my desk yesterday and I found my passport, my international passport. And I realized it's still freshly printed, smells like it was just issued. And there was not a single stamp there. So for me, it was like, that's so strange, because how come I was traveling almost more than before, almost every single corner of this country. And then I just realized, well, that was all travels within country, within Russia. And it was amazing because all this time, all these places were on my list, and I never would choose them because I would always think about, okay, the priority is to go somewhere outside of my country and go, visit Italy or Spain or Australia or so many more places around the world. And just like that, last February, my first trip was to the beautiful ski trip and beautiful mountains in Sochi. Then I went to Republic of Crimea, that surprised me a lot with its beauty and landscapes. Then I went to Königsberg, which is Kaliningrad. Then I went to see Northern Lights in Murmansk, and just my recent trip to Baikal. And all these places were emotionally so high for me and so interesting and so surprising that I never thought before that it could be ever possible to see my own country from all different sides. But the good thing about my story I wanted to share is that in all these places, I had friends. And there's a saying that we don't choose our family, but we can choose our friends. And the good thing about having friends in every single corner of the world is that they can show you their place or their home country or their home city to the best they know it. Even I have an experience of traveling a lot and programming my own travels myself by just researching online, and I thought I always did best for myself. But that was a moment of realization that my friends actually did better for me because they tried the best. They tried to show all these different cultures that they have, different food. They let me experience different hiking routes, different entertaining places. So to me, I never considered myself as a lucky person. And I knew that I knew and I know that I have to work hard for every single thing in life. But I realized that my luck is to have friends all around the world. And I'm lucky to have friends, and they are my family, and they've been helping me a lot through my most difficult times in life. Either it's packing my own things when I had to move in 2 days in a different country, or either it's organizing a wonderful trip for me. So that's a good thing also to work in public accounting. I always thought that's the most boring job in the world, public accounting. But apparently you get to know so many wonderful people all around the world who always wait for you. They invite you to visit them, and they always try to provide their best, like you're visiting your own family. So my takeaway here is that I feel like I succeeded in my own, maybe not profession, but maybe in my life. Just I have a lot of friends who I consider my family that I chose. And back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Marina, on the triumphant speech. Traveling is always something that's eye-opening, and it changes life. Every single person I met on a travel, every single place, whether it was scenery, whether it was in the north, in the south, in the east or the west, every single trip has made an impact and got me to whatever point I am in So I completely understand you. And I also have gotten my internal, actually, Russian passport, which is no stamps. The only stamp you get to put there is the wife and kids and house. Like that's the, I don't know why I got this, but anyways, it's the best thing, especially the first stamp you put on your passport. So right now, I want everyone, please, to spend a minute, write Marina your personal feedback, and tell her what you liked about her speech and what you think she could do better for the future. Please, everyone, in the text box, write directly to Marina, to her, what you like and what she could do better. 1 minute. Okay. So right now, we would like to move to our second speaker for today, who is Valeriya. So Valeriya is has a winning moment in a sense where she won second place in Texas Hold'em poker against 600 people, you guys. And today, I mean, that's a triumphant moment for her. And today, Valeriya will reveal the backstage of the ship's life and tell us about how she became one of the Pirates of the Caribbean. So her speech is about effective coaching, 1-2. And her title is Part of the Ship, Part of the Crew. Valeriya, the floor is yours.
Dear friends, today is the day to say goodbye. Farewell. I don't think we will see each other again. I was hearing those words so many times when working on the cruise ships. So many times I was saying it myself. No one was surprised to hear that. And no one was surprised to see you again in a couple of months. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests, today, as before, some of you were asking me to tell a little bit more about ship's life. So today I use this opportunity to reveal some backstage of it. How did it start for me personally? I was working in a small office as secretary after graduating university. The office was located near seaport on Vasilievsky Island. Every day I was passing by near cruise ships and was wondering if I could work on one of them instead of my boring office job. One day I found a job position as a receptionist. I applied. Unfortunately, it was already taken and they offered me to be a waitress. I agreed because it was sounding anyway better than to work in the office. I regretted it second day on the ship. Anyhow, I continued. It was very hard, working hours, 10, 12 hours a day without any days off. If you have half of the day off, you are lucky. Then after 4 months, I was so tired that I could not do it anymore and I signed off. 2 weeks later, the office called me and asked to come back for better conditions. which means to work in the bar instead of restaurant, I agreed. I regretted it a week after I came back. Anyhow, I continued. I finished my first contract and said, okay, I never do it again. The bar manager gave me an address where I could apply for a big ocean ships, but I said, I'm not going to do that. 1 month later, I applied as a waitress for an ocean cruise liner. Fortunately, they needed a receptionist with German language. So I did a couple of world cruises on this ship. Itinerary was amazing, but the working hours were not so great. I had to work from 4 p.m. till 8 p.m. and then from 4 a.m. till 8 a.m. After 6 months, I said, that's my last contract. I'm not coming back. Well, as you can guess, after 2 months, I came back, did another contract. After that, I actually wanted to stay, but this ship was done. It was at the end of its ship's life. So I thought that's my destiny then. I'm not going to ships anymore. It was 2008, and you know, it was a big crisis in the economy. Many people were losing their jobs. So I started looking for another job on the ship. I didn't want to do a receptionist job again because it's all about unhappy people coming to complain there. I was seeing the photographers, and they seemed very happy to take memories of guests, to wear costumes of pirates, of sailors, of some other creatures and characters. So I decided to do that. I found the job position and requirements where you have to be familiar with SLR camera, have 2 years experience as photographer, to be fluent in English and have portfolio of the portraits. I had none of them. My English was on the smart dog level where you understand everything but cannot say a word. I still had 2 months to prepare myself for job interviews, so I used that time. I don't know how, I was lucky probably, or it was destiny, I passed the interview. And then I started working for Royal Caribbean International as a cruise ship photographer. It was harder than I imagined. It was, but still it was a lot of fun. We were taking pictures or being in costumes. Most photographers didn't like to be in the costumes, including me, but it was part of the job. So anyway, after each contract, I was saying myself, now it's the last one, I will stop after that. I did 4 contracts after that. The last one I was doing, going to be prepared that it definitely will be the last one. So I did it and I stopped it. So what is the message I was trying to say here? That if one day you go to a cruise ship as a guest, and just remember that people working there, most of them, they don't have many other options on land. They're working really hard to make your vacation to be memorable, and they're not getting that much money for that. So be kind to those people and don't be stingy on tips. Thank you very much. And back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Valeriya. Yes, the service sector is known to be one of the most underappreciated and the most overworked sector in all of the economy. And it's one of the hardest tasks. And I myself couldn't handle a week in front of clients, actually. And this was for banking. And I completely understand when shouting customers are screaming into you and you're there and you're trying to control the fire. And I congratulate you for that. And everyone, please, I want you to write to Valeriya personal feedback on how what you like and what you think she should enhance. Don't forget to write to Valeriya and change the personal message from Marina to Valeriya. We have 1 minute. Hey guys, I hope you are all triumphant at writing the feedback. Now I would like to introduce our third speaker for today. Our third speaker is Alan Akamba. And one interesting win moment for Alan is, so when he went to West Africa, they put him in jail because he has a Russian passport and he's black. They were like, Russians are not black. And this is where the winning moment comes. So Russia sends out a counselor to the airport to get this guy out and to get him back to Russia. Ladies and gentlemen, managing a difficult audience, speech title, Fossil Fuels as a Reliable Source of Energy. Alan, the floor is all yours.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster Rami. I am trying to share my screen with you. I was unable to do it the fancy way, Mr. Walter, so I'm going to use the old school fashion. And I'm going to be using 2 cameras to try to keep eye contact with you guys. Okay, it's all in Russian here. So this is a 15 minutes presentation, and I will welcome questions at any moment. However, it might be better to hold on when I'm done with my presentation, but I welcome questions anytime. In 2007, I started my career. Let me just quickly ask Valeriya, what is that tool in the picture with me? What do you think?
Well, I don't know, but it looks so like not a tool, as an art object or something. It looks like a dragon tooth, or I don't know, a fruit.
Dragon. Okay.
I have no idea what it is, but I'm excited to see it and to hear more about that.
Thank you. Azam, what do you think? What tool is that?
I really don't know, but I think it can be related to a big machine.
Sorry?
To a big machine.
A big machine. Sure, it's a machine. No, that's person. Let me ask.
Oh, Alan, I think I know what it is. It's talk to me about it next time. I've been in oil and gas industry. This is a drilling thing. Okay. That's a part that goes into that drills actually a hole, right?
Okay, well done. I hope you can hear me. Yes, this is a drill bit. This is the tool that goes down into well, thousands of kilometers to drill. And I used to take it for granted. I had no idea when I drive to the gas station, where does the oil come from? So this is how I started my career as a drilling engineer. And so I have a very good idea of what I'm going to discuss with you right now because I had my hands dirty. I did it, been there, done that. So today I'm here to make the case that fossil fuels are still a reliable source of energy. I know that there are lots of green people who hate oil. Please don't shoot me. I'm just going to try to make that case here. And the information I'm presenting comes from reliable sources. The probably one of the most reliable is RigZone. It's just a website, a platform in the oil and gas industry that has a lot of information on research, employment, but also the US Information Administration. So let's understand a few basic things first. Sources of energy. Two main categories here. The first category is what we call fossil fuels on top, and it's black because it's polluting, right? So coal, oil, natural gas are considered fossil fuels because they basically diminish, they decrease in time. It takes a long time for them to build up. And at the bottom of this slide, you can see renewable energy, the second category. Example, solar power, wind power, hydroelectric power. They are considered renewable because they replenish very fast. There's always enough sunshine, there's always enough wind, and the water is in abundance. So they are considered renewable. Sometimes they are called green or alternative energy.
Alan, I've got a question. Why are you talking about fossil fuel when they're going away? We're getting rid of them. The world is going to renewable energy. It's obvious. There's no need to have fossil fuel at all. It's a silly thing to do. The whole world should go to renewable energy. It's cleaner, it's safer, it's better. Why are we still sticking with fossil fuel?
That's a wonderful question, Michael. I have the answer to that exact question in a couple of slides, if you just bear with me, and I will answer that question. So I'm just trying to give the basic concepts first. Now, the first reason, actually, to answer your question, why we cannot ignore fossil fuels is what we call the R to P ratio, the reserve to production ratio. So there are about 1.7 trillion barrels of oil underground at this moment in time, according to BP, and about 1.5 trillion according to RigZone. This is what the world can produce today, 95
But we don't need it. We don't need it. Why get the oil out of the ground? Why spend all this money, all this energy, all this time getting it out of the ground when we don't need it? Just leave it in the ground. It's not going to hurt anything. It's been there for 1,000,000 years. Leave it in there for another 1,000,000 years. It's not going to hurt anything.
Well, if you look around in St. Petersburg, you will see that probably 99.9% of all the automobiles that move around the city use gasoline. So it's not very smart to claim that we don't need it.
But if you don't try and do it, it's never going to happen. If you continuously provide them oil, we're going to continuously have gas guzzlers who pollute the air, and then ozone's problem. We don't need any of that. Why don't we just get rid of it? If you want to drive, the price of oil is 10 times as much as it is right now. If you made the price of gas 10 times, people would stop driving and stop using it. They wouldn't afford it.
I'll address that concern. You have a point, but I just want to make the case that as of now, we still need those fossil fuels. I will get to your point. So real quick, the amount, so it's basically about 13,000 to 15,000 times what we have on the ground. In other words, if we stop exploration now, the world still has about 35 to 50 years at the rate of production today. There's enough reserve on the ground that we cannot just ignore them. We have to tap. It's like any other resource. So I'll get to your question. So now, this is just remembering that every day there are new deposits discovered. Okay, so I'm going to repeat what I said. We have about 35 to 55 years of enough fossil fuels. It's one generation or so. So it's more than 15,000 times what the world produces every day. And every day there are new deposits coming up, being discovered. As you can see on this slide, fossil fuels account for a much higher percentage of production than hydroelectricity, less than 10% combined. And the next slide actually shows a better picture, which is this is the global the global energy consumption. Natural gas in the world accounts for only 23.4%, oil 34%, coal 27%, and the renewable that Michael is talking about is only 10%. Okay, so over 80%, about 80%, 80 to 85% of the world energy today comes from fossil fuels. I'm going to discuss why it's the case. Now, if you look at the fossil fuels, you will see that hydroelectric energy has about 65%. Let's move on to more interesting stuff. Michael, one reason why there is a problem with renewable energy is that the efficiency is very low. Efficiency basically means how much power do you spend? How much energy is wasted in the process? Take a look at this. 93% efficiency. Again, these are data that come from very credible sources. This is verified information, and you can get back to me after for more data. 93% efficiency for gasoline plants, 92% for nuclear plants, 85% for gasoline refineries. Look at how low the efficiency is for hydroelectricity. 35 and only 32%.
When we start doing renewables for as many years as we've been doing oil, that number will skyrocket, be above 90%, and oil and natural and those other things are going to be a loss. As soon as we start spending as much money, time, and energy, all those sheiks in the Middle East, they're making millions of dollars off the rest, billions of dollars off the rest of us, and they don't give a care about people. When we have as many years experience doing the renewables, they will be much, much higher. And there is scientific proof that proves that. You just don't want to face it.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about the pluses of renewable energy. So you have a point here.
No, Michael, I see a point, but the actual problem with renewable energy is that it's so expensive to implement. Like, it took 10 years for governments to actually see the payoff of implementing like wind energy and stuff. Like, this is a whole another problem with the renewable.
Exactly, and I'm just going to follow up on that. Thank you very much, Alexander. So as I was saying, the efficiency here is very low. Remember, for the wind, for example, or solar, if the weather changes, you have a problem. Okay, so let's just look at that immediately. So let's look at the pros and cons of renewable, right? So yes, it's environmentally friendly, as Michael pointed out. It's low cost and it's replenishable. Let's look at the cons. It's not very efficient. In other words, this is good for houses. If you go to the heavy industry, for planes, metallurgy, the heavy industry, big factories, the sun or the wind power is just not enough. The power from those sources is just not enough. And as I said, it depends on the weather, the season, unsteady supply. You want to be able to have power in your house all the time. You don't want to be in a situation where when it's dark or when it's not windy, you have no power. So those are the main concerns. The state of the art right now of technology, Michael, is very simple. Renewable energy is not efficient enough. It just cannot sustain human life, especially in big cities. Think of a city like New York or Moscow. There are nuclear stations to sustain the energy, to provide enough energy for those cities. So those things can come in the future, but not at this time because the technology is not there yet. Now let's look at fossil fuels. More efficient, great for machines. You can take a car and drive from Moscow for St. Petersburg to Moscow. You would have a problem with an electric car to do that, to be honest. Steady power and also high powers. Now, cons, yes, it's pollutes the environment. We're working on that. It's also not very good for the climate, high cost, exhaustible. And let me just say one more thing, Michael, and everybody else. Those big companies that we're talking about, BP, Shell, they also have departments.
Sorry, is it just me or can I not see the slides? Can everyone see the slides? I just don't, I'm kind of losing in my browser here a little bit. What is, you guys are seeing this?
It's a little bit laggy for me as well, yeah.
Ellen, you have your slides on?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, all right. Yeah, cool, because I was lost a little bit with the point. Okay. Oh, now I got it. Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Cool.
So
With
just
the
to wrap,
orange one. Yeah.
just to wrap up here, the issue, I'm not against clean energy, green energy. I'm saying that right now in 2021,
Yeah, clean energy is very important.
yes, it is very important. At the moment, it's just not enough to sustain humankind. So
Alan,
that's why that's my case.
why is it orange?
So that's my case here. And this will happen, okay, as time goes on, as you can see here, in the future, in the far future, maybe near future, yes, green energy will become more and more available and the technology will improve. But as of now, some people ask, when will oil finish? We still have about 50 to 100 years or more to rely on oil and gas. So this is what takes me to the end of my presentation. I know you have a lot of questions. We have about
Michael, but can I ask you a question? I don't understand. You're not thinking about about your kids and future generation. So you're just thinking about this particular moment that we're gonna consume a fossil energy and that's it? What about your kids? How are they gonna how are they gonna continue?
And 100 years is around the corner, by the way.
So the question is, do I care about my little boy or not, right? I do.
Exactly.
What I'm saying is that you have some resources available right now. How can you dare ignore them because because of ideology? I don't know. What I'm saying is, yes, let's invest in that green energy, and someday it will be good enough. But as of right now, the state of the art technology, Marina, if we forget about oil and gas, I'm telling you, you'll have problems to move around the city. You have problems to have power in your house, nuclear power. As of right now, not yet possible technologically.
You have a lot of problems, and I think you need to go back in history and learn, which I don't think you have done. Go back and talk to Henry Ford. If you ask Henry Ford, he said, if he asked his customers what they wanted, they said they wanted faster horses, but he didn't do that. He went ahead and made cars, and despite everybody saying they wanted faster horses. And you know what? That automobile changed the world, and we could change our world, and your children would be much better off, and your grandchildren would be much better off if we started today to say, stop using oil.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you
and
so
that's
much.
the point.
Sorry about
we have
a few
Angela
seconds.
Merkel, who said, get rid of the energy business totally. And what is the economy saying about that?
All right. So guys, look, I think I just want to make sure I'm not misunderstood. I didn't say we should ignore green energy. I'm saying now, as you can see, it's a reliable source. It's unavoidable right now today.
So take all the money you're putting into oil now and stop. Don't put another dime, not one kopeck into oil. Stop the money on.
There is research. There is research.
And put it into the renewables.
BP and ExxonMobil and Total and all those big players, they have research on green energy. They have departments on green energy.
They bought them, obviously. That's crystal clear. We know that all.
Yeah. But hey, look, let me just close it by saying, it's simple. Technologically, it's not possible at this time to just ignore oil and gas. Thank you, guys. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you so much.
Good job, Ellen. Good job, Ellen.
This was a very triumphant managing the crowd. Very good thing. I've seen this happen in Russian seminars, and honestly, it's a very similar situation. And thank you everyone for participating and doing that. Now, please, everyone, write Alan private feedback and text on what you loved about his approach and how you think he could be better. You have 1 minute, please. Okay, so I hope everyone is done. Right now, we have completed our speaker section. Konstantin is not going to be joining us and presenting today. So I would like to give the floor to Walter for him to announce the 10-minute break. Please, Walter, the floor is yours.
Voting.
Thank you very much, Rami. Thank you very much, Mr. Toastmaster. I would like, before going into the break, to spare a few seconds to make sure that I will set up the polls for the votes. And you make sure, once you receive them, in the chat. make sure you take your seconds and vote for the best speaker of those three triumphants. We were polite? No, I'm searching for the word. To listen to. Obliged? No, I lost the word, but when it comes up, I'll let you know. So there we go. There we go. Okay, that should be it. Thank you very much. I am handing over back to Rami, and Rami will ask the timer for the times.
Yes, thank you so much, Walter. Please, Alexander, can you give us the timing on everyone's speech today?
Yes, Marina and Valeriya were on time, on point, so they're good to be voted for. It's okay. And Alan's speech, or rather performance, was 50 seconds late, but still he is eligible for the vote. Thank you, Rami. Back to you, Rami.
Back to you, Walter, for announcing the break.
Okay, from my perspective, we can move on to the second part now. I think we will see if Em is still continuing to troubleshoot, if that connection will still participate or not. Nonetheless, we'll have a look at it. And I would love to hand over to Rami Saeed for reconvene the meeting and move on to the very second part of our 134th agenda of today.
Thank you so much, Walter. I congratulate you. We are on a win, and I congratulate everyone. We're all on time. We've had our perfect 10-minute break. And right now, we're going to get to an interesting part of our session, which is the improvisation session. And
I must interrupt. Someone has a music background going on. It's not me, so just make sure, please, that we're not interrupted by your background music and mute yourself. Sorry, Rami, please continue. Yeah.
So right now, I'd like to hand over the to Randal for our table topics.
Okay, thank you so much, Rami. I appreciate that handover. Ladies and gentlemen, about a month ago, we heard an icebreaker from Marina. And Marina opened the icebreaker. It was super punchy. It was so powerful. Her opening said that she had failed 20 times or 30 times or 50 times. And that opening just grabbed my attention, and I was just fascinated by it. So I thought it was a superb way to open a speech. And Rami today set a theme for winning. So I thought, hey, what's the opposite of winning? It's failing, but failing can be good. So today we're going to learn a little bit about how failure is good. Willingness to fail is a predecessor for any sort of success, whether your field is business, writing, politics. Everybody who has been successful has failed many times. So today at Table Topics, I'm going to show you a slide which has some famous people's names, all scrambled so you can't actually figure out who they are. And your job is to pick one of them and then read the quotation from that famous person. Try to guess who they are and tell us what you feel about what it is that they had to say. I hope that's all clear. It will become a bit more clear when I show my slide. So let's now share. Here we go. So here you can see a bunch of very colorful, look like words. And I want each one of you, I have to bring up my chat function here. Actually here, just 1 second. Let me stop sharing. How can I do this? I'm gonna need some help here. And I count on Alexander Kim. Can you help me? I want you to help me identify people who volunteer to speak, because I might not see it. And if no one volunteers, then just pick people randomly.
Absolutely.
Are you okay with that?
I'm the first one, yeah.
Okay, so let me share the screen again. So what's going to happen here is you will pick one of these things, and then I will show you the corresponding quotation, and you guess who they are, and then tell us something about what you feel about what it is they had to say. And starting with Alexander Kim. So Alexander Kim, can you choose one?
Of course, I choose eat.
Eat. Okay, eat. Let's see what eat had to say. Our greatest weakness lies in giving up. The most certain way to succeed is always to try just one more time. So
All right then. So from that quote, I think that is the CEO of some gambling hall who said that. Those guys want you to never give up. Those guys want you to continue and move on and basically pay and play more. To be serious, I don't know. A lot of people could have said that. I would guess the CEO of a gambling hall. I personally think it's a good way to move on. I really like the song from Hubestang, and the lyrics from one of those songs said like, I'm moving forward and I've got 1 million mistakes to go. And the singer is kind of excited about his future. He's excited to do 1 million mistakes for him that are waiting for him. And he's super thrilled to do them. So that's, I think, a great approach in life. As Michael mentioned, the first try, the first attempt may never be successful. And sometimes even a successful try can be harmful. You do an attempt, it is successful, and basically you learn nothing from it. Maybe your approach was wrong, but you succeeded. And after that, you may think you did something good, you did something right, but you just got lucky. So from that perspective, I think failure is always good. It's never wrong. And that's what we all should be excited about. Back to you, Mr. Table Topic Master.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, sharing again. Okay. So who was it? It was Thomas Edison, very famous inventor. Now, I need a second volunteer. Oh, I see Rami's hand. Okay. Rami, it's you. Please choose a letter.
FH.
FH. Okay. FH said, failure is simply the opportunity to begin again, this time more intelligently.
This is a very wise man. Failure is simply the opportunity to, oops. Okay, it's okay. It's okay. Failure is the opportunity to try again. We can try again this improv session like that. See, it's a live quotation with live immediate application. And I think the person who would say it, it sounds Americanish. So someone, maybe Ford, maybe one of these guys, the success people. And yeah, it's wise. I mean, you always need to fail, and whenever you fail, you need to try and never give up. Like, for example, this can be in everything. Actually, failure is not failure until you stop. So you need to keep on going forward until you reach your destination. And this is what we do here. And in our improv sessions, is we keep getting and pushing forward till we reach there, and we make an impact, hit the goal, hit the spot, and make people smile and make them win and laugh. Back to you. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Perfect job there, making sure you got the green light on. So who said failure is simply the opportunity to begin again, this time more intelligently? It was Henry Ford, inventor and industrialist. Henry Ford. Okay, Marina, you had your hand up.
Yeah.
Which would you like to choose?
I'll choose BBS.
BBS, very good choice. Wise choice. BBS said, try again, fail better. Who do you think said that, and how do you feel about that?
To me, it's someone who is in sports who said that. And I feel good about it because I think I experienced the same path when you don't realize that you fail and where you fail until you actually try it. So if you're going to be scared of doing something, or you're going to be feeling like I better stay in my comfort zone versus trying this, or this is something that's going to make me miserable. You should put away all these thoughts, because if your goal is to succeed somewhere, you should try it and you should fail it. And you should, next time you should fail it differently, maybe, because every single time you fail, you have some lessons for yourself, right? I would never know that when I was doing my first pull-ups, I didn't realize that I was doing them wrong, completely wrong. My technique was complete failure, and I wouldn't know about this until I actually tried on the competition. So for me, it's always going through the experience. It's always through going failures and through going through the hard work. And back to you, Mr. Tabletop Topics Master.
Thank you very much. Pull-ups. Did you mean push-ups or pull-ups? Pull-ups are super hard.
Yeah.
I actually have a very strong, fond memory of a Portuguese guy I used to go to the gym with who could do amazing pull-ups. Okay, this was a good one. And you thought this was someone from sports, and it fascinates me because this one's very succinct, but it's completely not sports, and it's not even this century.
Writer.
It's Samuel Beckett, a writer. And I think that was a brilliant one. Okay, Valeriya, you had your hand up.
Okay, I choose DJS.
DJS. Okay, let's go to DJS. So DJS said, enjoy failure and learn from it. You can never learn from success.
Well, I will guess. I have two guesses. One is Steve Jobs, because it has SJ in the name. And the other one is Mark Twain, because he said every quote anyway. We all know that. Even if somebody else was saying that, it was still him also saying that as well, repeating or being first, doesn't matter. A wise man. And in between, I forgot the quote. If you can show me to me again, would be great.
Sure.
And talking about failures in general, and about this quote in particular, it's correlate to my new role, which is design thinking coach. And one of the motto of design thinking is fail fast. It says, start something, try it out, fail, and do it again. And then you do that more and more times until you succeed at the end. And I think that's a very good approach. And I'm wondering who was the person who said it, really. Thank you. Back to you, Randal.
Okay, well, I can tell you, thank you very much. I can tell you it's specifically not Steve Jobs. I made an effort not to use any quotes from Steve Jobs today, because I thought everybody quotes Steve Jobs. This was Sir James Dyson, who invented a revolutionary vacuum cleaner. And this have an emotional attachment to me because I used to sell vacuum cleaners, my worst job of my life. And Sir James Dyson, what's fascinating is that he actually had 5,126 failures. So he perfected his vacuum, and it is after making 5,127 prototypes, he got a success. And then from that, he grew a business empire, and he received a knighthood. So pretty impressive. Michael Vader, you have your hand up.
Yes, I'll take ZZ, zebra.
I think you probably know who that is, don't you? Sneak. That one, I thought that one was too easy. If you learn from defeat, you haven't really lost. So who do you think said that, and how do you feel about that quotation?
Well, I think that if you look at defeat, you see your toes. That's what I said earlier. And I think that when people say that I've never failed, they say, well, I haven't failed at anything. Well, then I believe they haven't tried. And there's someone else who said that if you don't try, you never fail. I think that we all in life have gone through positive and negative times in our life. Every one of us, if we sat down, we can say when we were failures and when we were triumphant, when we actually saw ourselves winning something. And if, as we grow older and we reflect back on those times, I think if we're honest with ourselves, we will say that we did learn something. Learning from your defeats is not something easy to admit, because first of all, people don't want to admit they had a defeat, and then that they were wrong, or they made a mistake, or they did something that wasn't correct. They don't want to admit that, but we need to admit it. Just like any drug addict, somebody who's smoking, or anybody who has any kind of other problem, the first cure of getting better is to admit you have the problem. So same way with failure. When you admit that I failed and you learn something, then you can go on and be a winner and be triumphant. And I believe the author of that is Zig Ziglar.
You got it. Yep, you got it. Zig Ziglar, who is a famous salesman and what else can you say? Call him a coach?
Motivational speaker.
Motivational speaker. Okay, Azam, you had your hand up. Let's go back here. Would you like to choose one?
JM.
Which one?
JM.
JM. Okay, JM. JM. I can accept failure. Everyone fails at something, but I can't accept not trying.
It's me.
You said that.
No, it's my personal, because I always say people should try hard and learn, but people who stop like a tree, I never accept them. If a person, because we should learn every day, every moment, and we should try to do something in our life. I don't know it's from who, but it's very near to my thinking.
What field do you think they could come from? What field of life? The person who said that.
I don't know really.
Okay, let me show you. This was actually a very good one, I thought, today, because I used it with my daughter when I was taking her to her practice just before the meeting. This is from Michael Jordan, super famous athlete. I can accept failure. Everyone fails at something, but I can't accept not trying. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, have we got anybody left? Walter Schwarz has said nothing yet. Walter, you must choose one. Let's put this back here. I still don't have a green light, so that means I've got a few seconds left. Walter, choose one of these lucky letters combinations.
But I don't know which were not taken. I don't know. KFR.
KFR is yours. KFR is yours.
Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Now, it's funny that you say that, because I was going to use Colonel Harlan Sanders, but his quotation wasn't that strong. He was a cool guy, but his quotation wasn't strong. Only those who dare to fail greatly can ever achieve greatly.
Well, thank you very much, Randal, for introducing me to those triumphant quotes. I have not a single clue who might have said this, but considering the fact that triumph and failure is very common for one person I admire, I'd just go ahead and guess around a little bit, which might be Mr. Elon Musk, Tesla, Superman of failing and repeating and failing forward and failing fast and high and exploding SpaceX ships and so forth, due to the fact that this could be his world mantra of what brought him to where he is now. So my very special guess is that this quote was performed by Elon Musk. And because I have still time left, I need to tell you something that I admire Elon Musk due to his personality, because when you see him giving interviews and him almost crying every time when it comes to how is it being Elon Musk? His very characteristic personality comes out when he describes how difficult it is to be activating or reacting to his thoughts and analytical mindset he has developed throughout his time. So this probably can also be a burden when you just can't stop moving forward and failing forward when you don't take care of yourself. However, he has chosen his path and has done a great deal in contributing for inventing a lot of good stuff. So my very particular choice, Elon Musk, Tesla. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Walter. You were close. It was Robert F. Kennedy, a politician. How were you close? I don't know, but I'm just saying that. Now, I want to find one more here, because there was one that I thought was particularly cool, which I just want to share with you. And I let you guess in the chat if you can guess who said this. It is impossible to live without failing at something, unless you live so cautiously that you might as well not have lived at all, in which case you have failed by default. I thought this one was very powerful. If you live in a little cocoon, then you haven't really lived life at all.
What were the initials again?
The initials are RKJ. Now, I know all of you know who this person is. It's not Tolstoy. It's not Solzhenitsyn, not Nietzsche. I should have thrown a Nietzsche one in there. There must be some Nietzsche quotation of failure. And I was hoping to find a Russian, but I couldn't find any motivational quotes in English by famous Russians. Anybody got any clue who said that quotation? Harry Potter.
I don't.
Everybody know Harry Potter?
Oh, I've heard of them.
J.K. Rowling.
Rowling. J.K. Rowling.
The author of Harry Potter.
It's rolling. Yeah, know that.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I think everybody, I'm really pleased. I think this is the first time in our existence. This is meeting number 134. Everyone has participated in a table topic session. That's like a coup, personal coup for me. It's a win. I feel triumphant. And I would like to ask our timer if he can give the timing report on all of the participants in the table topic session. Alexander Kim.
Yeah, absolutely. All of the speakers were on time. I cannot speak for myself though.
Okay, I'd say you were.
You were okay.
So if our president and the ballot counter can prepare the ballot, please.
Already on the way. Thank you very much. Just 1 second to save the poll. What I have missed doing the last time. Now I will put the link in the chat. You will need to receive it just right now. And we all hope that this is the link which brings us to the vote. It's looking good.
One thing I should say about all the quotations, it was interesting how people come from different realms, but they all speak about the same issue, turning failure into success, or actually failure being the foundation for success.
Yes.
And now if everybody could vote, and I pass back to our esteemed Toastmaster of the day, Rami Saeed.
Thank you, Randal. Thank you so much for an interesting way to show about success and winning. It's always by looking at contrasts. You want to see how dark something is, you put something light beside it, and that's how you see it, how we get things. This is how we understand. Thank you. And right now, I would like to announce the general evaluation session. I would like to pass control to Michael Wader. Please, Michael, the floor is yours.
Yep. Thank you, Rami. Appreciate that. We are, it looks like time-wise, just a little bit behind time, so we need to just make sure we keep going straight ahead. Our first evaluator is myself, and I will be evaluating Marina as to what she had to say. And so, if Mr. Timer, if you will, please, you can go ahead and start the timing now on evaluators. I'll start. Marina, good morning, good afternoon, and good night. You told us about your travels, and you also started out with a very interesting thing about passports. One of the things that I liked about what you did was, for the people on the screen, you explained both Russian passports and your international passport. Not everybody understands there's two. Like myself, I only have one. So you explained that, and that was a good start to let us know what your foundation was, where you were going. I wasn't quite sure where you were headed in about the second minute, but then you got me going with your friends becoming your family, substituting them, showing you where things are at. I thought you did a good job with that. I thought you're talking about your line of the speech. I'm talking about the time of your speech, not the length, but over a period of time was good. I thought you used a good pattern, the pattern of starting with the passports, going to friends, mentioning family, and then continuing with friends and family at the end. All those were organized well. I would like to make a few recommendations to you. I know you're a relatively new speaker in Toastmasters, so some of these things might help you in the future if you choose to implement any of them. One is to stand up. When you're sitting down, you were sitting kind of casual over to the side. It looks like a very casual conversation that you're having in a cafe. It does not look like a speech that you're presenting. So I think that you should get a little bit more centered and try standing up. If you do stand up, be careful. Don't be looking down. I'm going to stand up for just a second. Don't be looking down at your computer when you're talking. People get the feeling you're talking down to them. It's better to be at eye level and put your camera at eye level and look straight ahead. It adds to the impact because people are listening to you one-on-one. Your speech online on the internet is a one-on-one conversation with every one of us at the same time. So that one-on-one contact, straight looking would be great. Also, right now, as you were thinking about your story, it's good and your story came out, but occasionally you were looking up at the window or up at the light. You would glance up and look up and think about something, and then you come back down and continue. And then you'd glance up again, and then you came back down. You need to try to keep that focus on the camera, keep going straight ahead. Also, I thought that your ending was a little bit abrupt. I don't know if you practiced your speech before you gave it or not, but you got to the end very quickly and kind of cut it off. There wasn't anything that the audience can take away. When you're giving a speech, you need to think that you're giving it to an audience, and you should be giving them something they can learn or they can do or they can use. So you should have something at the end of your speech that would be a takeaway for the people. And I thought that was maybe missing and could have been a little bit more smooth as you had your final delivery. Overall, good speech. Take these points, use them on your next presentation and evaluation, and I think you'll be successful. Thank you. Now back to Mr. General Evaluator. Thank you. Okay, now I'm back again. Our second evaluator is going to be Alexander Kim. And Alexander Kim, if you will please give us the feedback for Valeriya, I would appreciate it. Thank you. Floor is yours.
Thank you, Michael. I'll jump straight to the point. Valeriya, I'll try to be as specific as possible. I really like your opening. You said something like farewell, we're not seeing each other again, and this is basically the last time we see each other. You have given it without any context, and that's what I like. Actually, the textbook says you should connect to your audience, you want to make sure your audience understands you. Sometimes doing the opposite can work, and this is the case. Sometimes you want to confuse the audience intentionally, like you did. So you capture our attention. I personally think you are being serious. You are talking to us as our club members, that we are not seeing each other again. So that was a good thing to capture our attention. You also used in your speech metaphors, which I personally really like. This is more from a grammarian's perspective rather than an evaluator, but still I want to highlight it. You said something like, my English level was like a smart dog's. I can understand, but I cannot say anything. I found those metaphors very wonderful. They are always beautiful. Those are better than any adjective that you can imagine. One thing that I would try to do better in your place is to build a better structure. So when we say speech, it feels like a bunch of wires connected. And wires can be messy in some places. Everything is connected to everything, and it's difficult to keep up of what the person is saying. It is difficult rather than to understand how everything is connected to everything. When you work on your structure, the audience understands, okay, this is a part where we speak about the first job, this is the part where we speak about the second job, and make sure you add some connections to smooth the transition between the parts. I'm not saying that you did it bad. I think this is something that all the speakers can improve throughout their speaker's career. Like, it's impossible to perfect it, but that's a good thing. You always have something to progress on. Last thing that I will mention is humor. You add humor at the end of your speech. You said, don't be stingy on tips. Humor is a great tool to add into your speech, but my suggestion would be is to add it maybe earlier if it's possible, because it's also a great tool to capture our attention, to make sure you connect with the audience. And if it is possible, just try to implement it into the earlier parts of your speech. That's it. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Alexander. I don't know where our general evaluator is now. If he's not coming back in a few seconds, then maybe Rami will just hand over to the next evaluator.
Yes, thank you very much, Alexander. And now we move to our third speech evaluation. Walter will be evaluating Alan's speech. Please, Walter, the floor is yours.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Rami. Thank you very much. Off we go. Dear ladies and gentlemen, dear Ellen, I'm glad to see you. It's a pleasure to turn on the mobile phone. I think you're joining us. You had two cameras. You had a very interesting task today. For everyone who was not in the game, Ellen's task today was not the focus on the speech, but to how Ellen did manage the interruptions. Interruptions are always unforeseen things draining us into the wild ocean of emotions and resisting to the plan that we actually had by delivering a presentation. First things first, I must say, Ellen, you've done a very good job by creating backup plans. You had two settings set up. You contacted me making sure that someone's available with the slides. So you really give a lot of focus and strength into preventing whatever might occur during this session. Secondly, your delivery was very good and people were not familiar with the topic. You kicked it off with a fantastic integration session and so forth. But I have to say, this team was very polite to you from my perspective. We know it is a role play. On such a hot topic as oil, you announced it by opening, oh, usually things caught up very fast and start boiling. You managed to interfere to Michael's attempt to say oil, we don't like it, it's difficult and so forth, to my attempt as well. You did it very well in a very neutral, formal and professional way. However, I do believe, but this is a subjective evaluation from my perspective, that people are always much better taken care of on their emotional level. You would answer things like, yes, this is a good point, I'll get to it later. This is a good point, I'll do X, Y, Z. We will cover this and this. I think we've just heard it from Alexander or Rami saying that using humor, using someone saying, Michael, that's a good point here. I always have that at this slide. And what it happens is X, Y, Z. You pick the audience up, the person who wants emotionally to bring something across. Very often, as people either like the topic or not, depends on how they felt about it. Do they want to go into discussion? So I think you can improve here a little bit more by picking up the discussions and guiding them instead of saying, yes, I'll have that on slide 8 will be your answer. These are when people are emotionally heated up. This is something which can get out of control if you're not tackling this. And this is something I've written to you as well in terms of stand-up comedy. There's obviously a very harsh way to treat hecklers and shut them down. You can't do this in professional situations, but if you mostly take them, yes, please make sure, dear Michael or Marina or Valeriya, remind me of this topic when I'm in slide 8. This would be fantastic for you play and interact with the audience you're listening instead of delivering your speech on time, which probably is due to that you are fully aware of the setting and you were prepared for getting this. I think one could feel that. But in real life scenario, people just hit you and you take the waves by surfing on them. I think this is something which I would suggest you where you can definitely reach the next level. Thank you very much for such a great delivery, Ella.
Very good, Walter. Thank you very much. Thank you for stepping in while I had to step out for a second. So thank you. Appreciate it.
Oh, you were out? We didn't realize.
Yeah, right. Sorry about that. That just happens sometimes. We all have those faux pas. Okay, so we have had our speeches. We have had our feedback. We have had our table topics. What we need to do now is vote on have the voting for our 3 evaluators. So if Walter will put that into the chat box, we will go there and we will vote on the 3 evaluators. While he is working on that, I'm going to ask for and give both the grammarians report. Oh, I'm sorry, Walter, you have a question.
Can we ask the timing if I was on time? Because
I'm
not
sorry.
sure I was, just to make sure if we
yes,
were
sir.
all...
Mr. Timer, were all 3 of our evaluators within the time limits?
Short answer, yes.
Thank you. That's all I needed. Appreciate it. I will give you a little bit of feedback while Walter is making the voting in the chat box, and then you can vote. We have a few minor issues, nothing major, that we need to think about as a grammarian. And today, some people were talking about all this places, all this places. It should be all these places. The word this is incorrect in there. There was a few other places where I heard people not pronunciate this, the. Whenever you say something with TH, you put your tongue between your teeth. This. It came out this. Come out DIS instead of THIS. So we need to be a little bit careful about it. I know that's being very, very picky, but many of you are working on your English grammar and your English pronunciation, and it's just a point that you might want to think about. When a word starts with the TH, usually it starts with this, which is tongue between the teeth. So that's something that you can work on. I thought overall today's meeting was all right. It started late at 2:18, but we understood why, because several people had technical difficulties getting into our site. Not everybody could get in easily, so we had some difficulties. So we started late. We just might want to try. Some people talked about it ahead of time, that we should try to get on board 15 or 20 minutes before 2 o'clock, just to check to see if we can get in and if it's going to be all right. It gives us some time to play with it a little bit, but we made a choice and we were a little bit late, and that's all right today. I don't mind that. I just think that we can do better in the future. I thought that our Toastmaster today, I thought he did a very good job of explaining the theme of the day and what it was about winning and losing, and about trying to come up with examples of when we were winners and how we won. And these are things that we all need to remember. Whenever we get down, we got to think about picking ourselves up and thinking about winning. Our Toastmaster tried to do that today. And I think that when we introduced the Toastmaster to begin the meeting, I think we should know a little bit more about the Toastmaster and make that introduction a little bit longer, a little bit more detailed to talk about. The Toastmaster pretty much introduced himself today, talking about, he said, my name is Rami, here's what I believe in winning, and so forth. I think we could have done that for him to help introduce the Toastmaster. He shouldn't have to introduce himself. No grammarian today. I hope somebody volunteers for the grammarian next time. We really need to fill that role. No counter today, but some of you were using Oz. I didn't keep track of the numbers, but I know that there were several of them. I thought that after each speaker was finished speaking, the three of them, that Rami, our Toastmaster of the day, made good general comments. He listened to their words, he listened to their presentation, and he made a comment that included something from their speech, which is a very good example for the rest of us when we want to be Toastmaster today. Listen carefully and give our speakers some feedback right away when they finish speaking, within moments, and talk about something that they talked about. I thought that was good. Our timer, Alexander, did a good job today. I thought that Randal on our table topics was good. He gave us a puzzle. I don't know if you figured out his puzzle. I kind of figured it out a little bit earlier, so it made it easier for me to identify the speakers, but it was intriguing, and it was something that we can all try to aspire to. When you know the theme of the meeting, Rami has said it as being winning, picking your table topics to complement or accent that is very, very good. And Randal did a good job of that today. It was also very good that we got everybody on board. I do want to point out to Randal, though, we did not have 100% participation in table topics because Alan was online. He just didn't have his face showing, and we didn't call on Alan. So if we'd called on Alan, it would have been 100%. I think that we have done everything except for the last voting. I have not voted. I'm sorry I was talking. Hopefully the rest of you have gone to the chat box and the rest of you have voted. I will vote now, and then that will complete the voting. I believe Walter will be smiling on have a smile on his face because he's going to know that everybody voted. And I think that overall the meeting agenda was done ahead of time. I think preparation was done ahead of time. We just need to be a little bit better about filling the roles. And if we all work together on that, because we've got about, if I'm not mistaken, Walter, about 16 members total. And right now we've only got 9 on the screen. So that means about almost half of the people are gone. So we need to bring them back and we need to fill the rest of the roles. I appreciate everybody stepping up. I appreciate everybody contributing. And we even have a guest, Azam, who's been coming to our meetings, and even she has been contributing, even though she's not a regular member, which is good. So I think that all of us are going in the right direction. With that, I'd like to turn it back over to our president, to our Toastmaster of the day. Rami, back to you.
Thank you so much, Michael. So right now we get to the interesting section, which is presenting the awards for today. So we're getting the votes done.
Quiz.
No, not yet. Not yet.
Yes, the quizzes. So Walter, will you go ahead?
Yes, I will go ahead. Thank you very much, Mr. Toastmaster of the day. Thank you very much, Rami. And thank you very much, Michael, for pointing out of the grammarian or taking over the grammarian task. I'll just spend a couple of seconds on that as well, making sure that Triumphant was named #1 by Rami 3 or 4 times, by myself 1 time, and by Michael also 1 time, I believe. So by just announcing that, I have 2 times. That means I have more than Michael, and Rami wins the word of the day. That's not too bad.
Randal also used it, and Valeriya used it. So we also had 2 more people who used it.
That is perfect, but you know, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd counts only.
Alexander, did I hear you use it also, Alexander?
Maybe last meeting, but not this one.
Not
Okay.
not this one. And please make sure, Michael, you are the president's rules in this country are a bit different than in your country.
I
Okay.
understand.
Good. We have
You're a
sorted out
dictator, I
this.
understand
Political arguments. Pointing out some more further jokes. I want to take over for the quiz, and the quiz we're having, everyone must be aware of it, is I want to see your fingers, because what I want to do is warm up. You want to check that your fingers are just right now at your desktop, mobile phone, iPad, whatever you're joining us, because it's up to you to hit the button in the chat. Make sure you choose right now that all people will receive this message, not only me or the person you were chatting to previously. You can do this right now. Also, before we keep on going, Michael, may I ask you to double check the chat and click the vote for the best voter, because we lack 1 person, and this is critical. I can't say more. Thank you for doing so. All right, and then starting and beginning the quiz section, we're just gonna hit it off and asking you guys, where did Konstantin not join us from today? But tried to. The library, yes, very well done. Who was first things first? I think Rami was fast enough. Very good. No, not from Kazan, I'm afraid. He was a library in Saint Petersburg. Okay, I need to work on my communication. Taken. Number 2, where was Marina not? I repeat, where was Marina not yet? In Kaliningrad, in Sochi, or Murmansk? She visited a lot of places around the world. Where did she not go? Kaliningrad, Sochi, or Murmansk? Rami, Murmansk. Marina, is that right or wrong? Thank you. I didn't hear that from Marina, so I would expect it will be Murmansk. Oh, it's wrong.
That's right. She said all 3.
But I made up Murmansk.
Well,
oh, you've been everywhere. Oh, bugger. Okay, okay, taking over. Thank you very much, Marina. I thought you were out of the game and I can work it out, but it didn't work. Number 3, dear ladies and gentlemen, it is, who can we choose in our life according to Marina? Whom can we choose? Friends, 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 friends. Yes, absolutely. Your friends, the beloved ones who are willing to continue your journey on your chapter where you are right now. That is true, because family is given by you or your surrounding. Now, which film genre Marina loves a lot? Apparently, yes, freaky, but that is correct. It's the Rocky Horror Picture Show, probably. Now, next question. What did Valeriya not mention what she worked? Valeriya, you're not participating. Waitress, restaurant, bar lady, captain, or photographer? That's correct. Captain of the ship, not of her life. She's a captain of her life, not captain of her ship. Very much so. Now, we have another one, and that is, when will oil be finished? Or otherwise, how much or how long will oil be lasting? Ooh. Ooh. Maybe I slept during Alan's participation. Alan, I'm not sure if you're with us. Is that all? Do we have more? Who disagrees? Yeah, please write something in. You have exactly 3 seconds, probably. Alan, do you have an answer for us?
Well, what are the answers there?
How many years will oil last for?
Yeah, that's if we stop everything now, if we stop exploration. 50 years is good, but it's a lot more than that.
But you said 100 something on your slides. That's what I've written down.
Oh yeah, because every day they knew the past is coming.
Yes, thank you very much, Alex, for confirming this. Yeah, very much so. Thank you guys for active listening, but I think you were more engaged in interrupting actively. I got that. Okay, I can't read my notes. What? Okay, let's move on.
Okay.
Oh, okay. All right, there we go. More than 100 plus. Thank you very much, dear ladies and gentlemen, for participating in this quiz. It is always nice and lovely to ask who was not sleeping during the meeting. And I am going to hand over to our Toastmaster of the day, Rami. Back to you. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Walter. It's a very important task to know who's listening and who's not. And apparently everyone is listening, and this is great. And now we're going to announce the winners for today. So are you guys ready?
I'm afraid I still need to interrupt. Michael, did you vote?
Yes, I voted twice.
Okay, then we cannot announce, because then we need to have another go due to the fact that it does not add up. please.
104%.
It's impossible to vote twice.
Yeah. Do
No?
you know?
No?
Do you know which members voted and which members does? Do you have that information?
No, I always have 8 members participating in the vote for whichever
Okay.
reason, but 2 people have the same amount. Now, if 2 people have the same amount, I would initiate the revote for these 2 people. That was what I was doing right now.
We have 9 people here right now.
I asked that throughout this entire meeting. 8
Did you
people
vote?
are always voting.
Did you vote?
I always do. Obviously, I do. Now, without further ado, let me please do that and hit the vote off again. Okay, now would you please vote again for the best evaluator using this link, double checking works. Oh, okay. Not, I'm afraid. Now. Should work now?
I only see 2 and 3.
Can someone talk to me? Please, can someone give me feedback? What's happening on your screen when you click?
Yeah,
the
we can
link?
vote. We can vote. Yeah.
Thank you very much. That
Yeah, I
helps
see.
a lot. Okay. Got that? Now everyone, please click the link and make sure you voted. Okay. Okay. Now. Oh God, that is so exciting. Okay. Good. Very, very good. Very good. Things improving very good. Good. Well done. We're done. And moving on with Rami, please.
Yes. So I hope everyone is excited. Please join your hands together and let's start clapping and slapping the laptop so we know that there's some drums and action. And we're gonna announce the evaluators. Today we have 2 winners. It's Walter and Alex.
Yay!
I have tried, but when the results are just exactly the same, I just can't make them not being the same. I'm afraid it's a democratical thing. So we have just 2 winners of the hearts. Alex, well done, you.
Lovely.
I voted for you, Walter.
And now the
So did
winner
I.
for the table topics. The winner for the table topics. Again, let's do the Alexander. Yay!
Alexander Kim.
Winners.
Wow.
And for our best speaker for today, everyone, let's shake it. Let's shake it. And it's Valeriya.
Valeriya. Valeriya, congratulations to Thailand. You've done a very good job.
Thank you so much. I give control back to Walter for the closing remarks.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rami. Saeed, thank you very much for guiding us through this very exciting 134th session of the Saint Petersburg Toastmaster International Forum, if you want to call it like that. We started a bit chaotically. This is how we probably are, and this is how we operate. I think that is totally fine. Nonetheless, I would love us to continue onboarding 15 to 20 minutes onwards, because thinking what would be if everyone would be 5 minutes before then it would be, the meeting probably wouldn't even have happened. Now, well done for everyone who made it on time. For those who didn't, there's always technical things appear, and also we had some people coming in today who tried to manipulate the meeting. That just happens in the tech world we live in. Thank you very much for the contribution of the speakers. Thank you very much, Alan, Valeriya, Marina, Michael, Randal, Alex, Azam, and Rami, just to cover everyone. One little story. I was in a very happy mood today, and I just can't stop the meeting without making a note on that. The word of the day, which was initiated by Michael, thank you very much, Michael, is triumphant, I think it is called.
Triumphant.
It's triumphant, yes. And for Germans, I don't know if for anyone else in the world, the triumph is saying something else than just the world of triumph. What comes into your mind? Just give me some.
In China, it was a very famous brand of brassieres, ladies' brassieres.
It's also motorcycles. Motorcycles also.
Motorcycles, yes. And I had always this imagination I need to share. Triumphant sounds for me like an elephant in girls' underwear, because Triumph is a super famous girls' and ladies' underwear brand. I don't know if ladies can confirm that, but in Germany it is just massive. So Triumphator is like triumphant. It's just an elephant wearing beautiful underwear. For me, that's why maybe you know why I'm smiling in the head throughout this entire meeting. I would love to close off this session and wishing every one of us a great beginning of the spring, which I call summer, because it feels very hot. I've got rid of my jacket and boots, and this makes me very happy. I would like to stay with everyone who's here before you guys leave, so we can make the suggestions for next meeting and pick the roles. If you have anything to say, just do it right now. Apart from that, I'll stay here for another 5 to 10 minutes with you guys. Thank you very much, Rami, for guiding us nicely through this very session. A big round of applause for everyone who contributed.